Wakey, wakey, hands off Snakey, you pervert! Just because you didn't get any last night doesn't mean you get to pleasure yourself this morning. Stand at attention. Not that part. No, you stand at attention. You get in the kitchen. You start the coffee brewing. You get the eggs and the bacon frying up in the pan. And you get your computer out, get your phone out. You settle in for your weekend edition Saturday morning hangover cure. It is time for Sports Frenzy 2.0.
And you know damn well that you better call your friends to remind them to check us out on Spotify, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby. Needed a longer breath in there.
You feel good about yourself getting that out of the way so quickly?
Yes, I do. We always wait till later. So this time it's right up front.
I got to deal with these people out there with their, their hands down their pants, and you're doing premature promotion. Come on! What am I working with here?
Deal
Professionals or not?
Suck it up, muchacho.
Dave, of course, was not here last week because of the whole internet outage mess. So we're going to play a little bit of catch up.
So we're making up for it early here.
Yes, but we have got plenty of new stuff for you, good stuff. We're going to start off with 3 songs that we meant to review last week that we didn't get to.
That's right.
So we're going to start off. I'll let you decide. You decide, Conquistador, which of the 3 songs do you want to start with? Put them in order, whatever you want to do, jumble them.
We're just going to go off the cuff here.
All right.
Well, that was part of the concert review.
Which we'll get to. He's going to review...
Let's go with the oldest of the groups. The longest tenured group first.
There you go.
Tears for Fears. Girl That I Call Home.
Yep, they've got a brand new live album coming out. 4 new songs, in addition to a full concert, or full-length concert. I think it's a double CD. It's actually very, very comprehensive. So The Girl That I Call Home is the first single when it comes to the new songs.
Yep, the new stuff. Getting back to who they are.
I thought
originally,
that too. I thought that it sounded
very early Tears for Fears.
Yeah, this sounded like early 80s Tears for Fears.
Yes,
I agree completely.
I liked it a lot.
Yes, it'll grow on you.
It does.
The first couple times you listen to it, you've got to take into account what Dave just said, that this is a throwback. This is not what we heard from them on their last album, The Tipping Point, which tried to be a little bit more contemporary, a little bit darker, a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad.
No, but it's decent. But this goes back to their roots of how they started.
Yep.
And I was really digging this one.
Yep. It gets better as you listen to it more.
Yeah. I give it a solid 3.
I give it a weak 3. I'll give it a weak 3.
So, not strong, not weak, but solid.
It's just a little wussy. A little wussy.
But that's what they were then.
I know, but it's catchy.
It's
catchy. It's well done. So I'm still giving it a positive review.
Yeah.
A week 3 Frenzies. Just a little teeny tiny bit wussy.
Yeah, a little bit. Should we kind of continue down that vein a little bit?
With our man?
With our man, Miles?
This is another one, though, that the more I listen to it, the less wussy it got.
It does, but Miss You When You're Gone. When it comes to ballads, this is still better than a lot of what we've gotten over the last year.
Isn't it amazing how you and I have been doing this for years, and we end up almost all the time being simpatico on these reviews? That's exactly the exact thought I had was, this is not top-level Miles Kennedy, but it's better than 99% of the other crap out there.
Yeah. So...
And it does, again, get better on repeated listens.
It does.
Just like Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
So I will go the same with this. I will give it a very weak 3 Frenzies.
Yes, I went week 3 on this one.
Now, this is going to be interesting. This is the review I've been waiting for because I know how you love the Offspring. You might love them even more than me. Of course, this is our band. This is the
is
band
our
that
band.
launched us.
This is what started Sports Frenzy.
Yes. You
This-
got to keep them separated. We use that as
Come
our
Out
theme
and
song.
Play was the theme song for the original.
On cable access TV. So we have a very special place in our hearts for the Offspring.
So, Come to Brazil. Catchy, quick. It felt like a travel ad.
The weird thing about this song is when I watch the video, and I've kind of gravitated more away from Spotify when it comes to the one-off songs we review and going more to YouTube if they have a video.
Yeah.
It's just easier, quicker, and plus you do get very quickly on many of these songs the subtitles. And so I got the subtitles for Come to Brazil, and then I realized this is them talking about all their fans in Brazil that want them to come play a show in Brazil. And I'm like, okay, that's really not
different,
deep lyrical content. Now, I don't need deep lyrical content, but I would much prefer something like Slim Pickens does the right thing. Which one of the times, by the way, when I played on Spotify, it led into Slim Pickens. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that because that's like apples and oranges, man.
Yeah, it just does not
Whether I like Come to Brazil or not,
you don't.
Arguably their greatest song ever.
Oh.
Our opinion.
Our opinion.
Dave, I know Dave agrees with me on that.
My boys agree with us on that.
Yes. Slim Pickens does the right thing.
Is phenomenal.
Yes. I am worried about this upcoming album from The Offspring.
I know.
Because we've got 3 songs in now, and they've all been okay, but they all seem a little formulaic or bizarre in a bad way. This song, Come to Brazil, the whole military drum cadence, I'm like, is this a rock and roll song? What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, and then, of course, you get the generic, ole, 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 here's the party chant part of the Offspring song.
It's like, come on, just no.
I am hoping that they are saving the more subversive, nasty, controversial stuff
for the album.
Yes.
And doing the poppy,
radio-friendly, accessible stuff now.
We can only hope. This is the worst of them.
Yeah, I can't recommend this song.
No,
I can't.
I can't.
I'll give it a 2. A 2 frenzies.
Yeah, that's all it warrants.
Yeah.
It's just, no. It's a no-go.
It tries to do so many different things, and it doesn't do any of them well.
Perfectly said.
But you know what else is going to be perfectly said? Your review of our concert from a couple weekends ago, Rival Sons, Clutch, and Fu Manchu.
Yep.
I've already given the kids my opinion.
An intriguing night it was. So, Fu Manchu, I'd listened to some of their stuff prior. It was alright. They were decent. There were a couple songs that were pretty good, but overall, I will give Fu Manchu a 2.5 for their performance.
I don't think I broke it up. I think I just gave it 1 overall grade.
Okay.
But it's up to you.
But I've got it broken down. Clutch, I enjoyed them more than I thought I might. They had some moments that stood out and others that were like, okay. I'll give them a week 3.
So you're now going to start walking out halfway through shows?
Now, I am going to call out the Clutch fans for being raging assholes.
And this point needs to be emphasized from last week, because I told your kids the same thing. Go.
These fucktards are so self-absorbed into this group that 2/3 of the audience left before Rival Sons, before the stage was even set up for Rival Sons. Everybody just bailed, didn't even give Rival Sons a chance. Screw you, assholes. The hell with you. You are not music fans. That's all I can say.
There it is, kids. Once again, I just said this 3 minutes ago. That could be verbatim what I said last week. I know I said you are not music fans.
It's an embarrassment on you guys.
And again, we don't plan this out ahead of time. That's Dave's words. And I swear to God, if you play last week's episode, I almost said the exact same thing verbatim.
So,
you don't leave a show early unless there's an emergency, unless it's poison and you've seen them 4 years in a row. Otherwise, you stick around, you give the music, the band a chance.
Yeah, you don't leave before they start. You at least give them half a set.
And I told you when I looked online and saw some of the social media stuff that that's what they were saying. Oh, how dare anybody who thinks they can play after Clutch.
Yeah.
We will leave. We will walk out because nobody should be playing it. Clutch should be the headliner every night.
No, they should not be the headliner every night.
No.
Now, that being said, Rival Sons did not have the strongest start to their set.
Nope. And
they got a little too experimental with some of their stuff, with some of the guitar work. And
I went through, I tried to piece together the set list. I couldn't get a complete set list. Somehow I got a complete set list for Fu Manchu last week and for Clutch, but couldn't get one for Rival Sons. And you will be very, very mad if you look at the set list that I downloaded from a few nights prior, because they played The Rich and the Poor.
Son of a bitch!
One of the songs off of Great Western Valkyrie
that I wanted to hear.
Yeah, they played two songs on the set list from a few nights prior that they did not play when we saw them at the Sweetwater Performance Pavilion in Fort Wayne, and that was one of them. The other one was after Mirrors at the beginning. They were playing Nobody Wants to Die.
Oh, come on!
I'm like, we didn't get that.
If you would have had those two within the first 20 minutes, it would have been a much stronger set. As it was, I was a little concerned through the first 20 minutes, like, God, what do we have? And if all those Clutch fans would have stuck around, they would have bailed anyway.
Yeah.
But after that,
the last 45 minutes,
then they kicked it up, and that is the Rival Sons that we went to see.
Yes. Yep. Completely agree. They just dug a little too deep into the catalog, stretched some songs out a little bit longer than they should have.
Yeah.
But once they finally started digging into stuff like Pressure and Time and Feral Roots, then it was like, game on.
Boom.
Like you said, this is our band now. This is the band we came to see.
Yeah. So I'm like, when it started, I'm like, oh God, do we have a Greta Van Fleet moment here?
Yeah, what did they learn from Greta Van Fleet? Have they tainted our band?
Please, no. But no, they finished strong, as that's the show we wanted.
Yep.
As it finished up.
And of course, as we joke about Greta Van Fleet, it's because a few years ago is where we discovered Rival Sons opening for Greta Van Fleet, and they kicked Greta Van Fleet's ass.
Yes. 7 Ways from Tuesday.
Yes.
So
yeah, if it wasn't for the slow start, an unbelievable show. If you take out that first, like you said, 20-25 minutes, it was a 4-star, 4 Frenzy, A+ performance. But you gotta take that into account, knocks it down a little bit.
It does. I can only go a strong 3.
I think I went 3.5 still.
So,
but yeah, you can't reach perfection when you noodle around there in the beginning.
Yep. And you went with the weak stuff right off the bat, where you could have intermixed and buried it towards the middle.
Yeah, it was.
Or just giving us the 2 songs we wanted anyway.
See, I never should have told you. I never should have told you.
But that would have made the difference.
Well, I was just shocked that I know you wanted to hear The Rich and the Poor, but I'm just shocked. Outside of Mirrors, the opening song, how they ignored the 2 albums
Dark
from last
Fighter
year.
and Lightbringer?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing off of
And
those
then I'm seeing, well, they played Nobody Wants to Die a week ago. Like, I would love to hear Nobody Wants to Die. The new albums are great. Why can't we get a little bit more off of them?
Yeah.
We know those. Mercy. Where the hell's Mercy?
Oh my God, Mercy. We have to do everything.
I know. It's the way it always is. We have to do everything. Even with our favorite bands. Speaking of which, in a couple weeks, finally we get back out on the concert trail again.
That's right. We're taking Nick, my youngest.
Yep.
Going to see Roger Klein and the Peacemakers.
Yes, cannot wait for that. Get back on the concert bandwagon
again.
again.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we got 4 more shows left in the final 3 months of 2024. Cannot wait. We've got Roger Klein and the Peacemakers. We have got REO Speedwagon. We have got Jackal, and we have got Night Ranger.
Solid finish.
Yep, absolutely fantastic.
And we will still get Night Ranger and Jackal despite the asshat running Plymouth Motor Speedway.
Yes, and I will disparage that fucker every week until the day I die because he's a thief, a crook, and a criminal.
Because nobody has gotten their money back from this asshat yet.
Next week, new song from Tremonti. Now, I shouldn't have said anything to Dave, but I did.
It's going to be fine. I will not let that taint my view.
Because I kind of told him that I love the song and he'll probably hate it. The Mother, the Earth, and I. Yes, it sounds like hippy-dippy bullshit. It's not. It's a little bit proggy. But it's not Grateful Dead hippy-dippy bullshit.
And that's all we can hope for because we hate hippy-dippy bullshit.
And then we've got a couple new songs from U2. Not new, but... Now, I'm not a huge U2 fan. I like U2. I've seen them once. I wouldn't mind seeing them again.
I can take them or leave them.
But I have to give them respect and credit because this is what I want Van Halen to do that they don't fucking do. Is that they're digging back into their archives and they're finding all these lost tracks that were never released. They're what many consider their comeback album. After they did all that goofy stuff with Zooropa and Pop, then they came back with How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. And that was a huge hit. And it was kind of like them coming back to their old Joshua Tree type sound. Well, they found 10 songs from those sessions that have never been released. So they're going to release those as only digital, I believe. I think you can also get them as a double CD with a remastered version of the original album, whatever. But anyway, we're going to look at 2 of the songs, the first 2 releases, Country Mile and Picture of You, subtitled X plus W, which stands for Xanax and Wine.
So there you go.
I have listened to Picture of You, and it's very good. I liked it a lot. Country Mile, we'll see. So that's what we got for you next week, along with album review. Finally got a new album review for you.
Yes, Soul Asylum. Slowly but surely.
Yep. So we have heard a couple of the songs off that album. We've reviewed a couple, of course, plus when we saw them in concert, we heard a third.
Yes. So, high hopes.
Yep. Yeah. By the way, can I just put in a personal note? After the week I've had with Amazon.
You saw red?
Inside joke, kids. I pre-ordered the Soul Asylum album. They had it for a really good price months ago.
Right. And you're not getting it day of release.
No, they said. No, it came out last Friday.
And you
They
still
said-
don't have it.
No, they said they sent me an email today. Your new estimated delivery date is early November.
What the fuck?
So I canceled it and I just bought the digital and burned a copy.
So why the hell do we subscribe to Prime if they're not getting us stuff on release dates?
Honestly, you want to know, this is going to sound generic and cheesy. The email they sent me when they originally told me there was going to be a delay, supply chain issues. They literally said supply chain issues. And now, we've got the dock workers on strike.
Those fuckers. Union again. There you go.
So I'm like, I'm not waiting till November because I can actually get it for cheaper and I'll just burn my own goddamn copy. So, anyway, next week, Soul Asylum, U2 and Tremonti when it comes to music.
Mwah.
All right, so we're going to move on to TV and streaming. Let me give you a little bit of news updates, headlines.
Deet, 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 deet.
And of course, I love to do this and get Dave's reaction.
Because we do not plan this ahead of time.
No. Most of these I don't think he really gives two rip shits about. So, although we have both been talking about, now that the content library is built up a little bit, how Apple TV Plus is very enticing.
It's getting close.
Well, now at least we know that it might be worth it to, at least for you to start, for me to finish watching season 1 of Sugar with Colin Farrell, because they have renewed it for season 2.
Okay.
So it is coming back. And I still don't know, even though I'm pretty sure, what the twist is. But Colin Farrell's so awesome. We'll talk about the Penguin in a minute here. Netflix. I know how much you love this shit, Dave. Netflix is going to reboot in a limited series. East of Eden. The old classic.
Really?
Yes. James Dean.
Why?
Because they have no new ideas. You know this.
Ugh.
And now the big thing's going to be, who are they going to cast as James Dean?
Who cares? Sorry. I watched like the first 15 minutes of it and couldn't get into it. Could care less. You're right, I could give two rip shits about this one.
I told you. I warned you. Now this is something we've been talking about.
Oh.
DirecTV has acquired Dish Network, so now they become the largest company of
Satellite providers.
pay TV.
Dish Network was always better than DirecTV.
So we'll see if this has any impact on
Anything.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think people really, really want satellite dishes on their house or in their property anymore.
Not anymore. Everybody's over it at this point.
And I think somehow I read that AT&T is divesting themselves because they, of course, were the primary holders of DirecTV. I think they're kind of getting out of this.
Yeah.
So I know how much you love Chucky. Well, guess what? Chucky's going away. Sci-Fi and USA have canceled the series Chucky after 3 seasons. That,
guess what? Never watched an episode.
given how much you and I watch the worst possible horror movies that come out, how is it that we are the one that we don't like, or the character of the series we don't follow is Chucky? I have never watched a single movie, or I might have watched the first episode of the series.
I have
Might have.
not bothered with the series. For some reason, I was intrigued by the first movie and watched it. And for some stupid reason, I subjected myself to the second one and have not seen anything thereafter.
I don't think I've ever watched a single movie.
You're
Not even started them.
You're not missing much.
Yeah. What, Jennifer Tilly? Oh my God. One of the worst actresses of all time.
Bride of Chucky.
Yeah.
She's pretty, though.
You just like her boobs. She got big boobs.
Well,
she
yeah.
loves to flaunt them.
She does have some nice redeeming qualities.
Okay, can we steer it away from that for now?
Fine.
Maybe we'll revisit that later in my movie review.
Jennifer Tilly?
No. Redeeming qualities. Redeeming qualities. I find this intriguing. Coming to Amazon Prime on October the 25th. Maybe it's just me, but it looks kind of cool. They're bringing back Captain Nemo. A new limited series on Amazon Prime called Nautilus.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it's a British production.
When does this come out?
October the 25th. And the posters look perfect. You see the sub,
And
you
it's
see the
on
tentacles.
Prime.
Yes. October the 25th on Prime, Nautilus.
I'm intrigued by this.
Revisiting Captain Nemo, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, all that good shit.
I could get into that.
Yeah. Because nobody's ever... That's one property, that's one idea that nobody's ever really jumped on and redone and rebooted properly.
Right.
That could have been a huge, big-budget movie by now.
Oh, absolutely.
But...
Alas.
Again, we have to do everything for them. For Hollywood, everybody. We've got to do it all. Now, I know you're going to be depressed to hear this. But maybe it's because of football season. Maybe it's because I am maturing more here in the last third of my life. I'm starting to watch less wrestling.
Are you now? Are you becoming disenfranchised?
Well, we're going to talk more about that in a minute. But very disheartened to hear the news that after 12 years, Raw is scaling down from 3 hours to 2.
Really?
On Monday night. Yeah. Starting next week. So that seems odd to me. Now, is this...
Is it a ratings thing?
Well, is it because of the switch to Netflix in January? But why would you get rid of that extra hour of advertising revenue? So Raw...
Unless the ratings decline during an hour?
That could be possible. Maybe because of Monday Night Football.
There you go.
But it seems kind of reactionary. I mean, maybe that's it. When they go back to Netflix, maybe they bump it back up to 3 hours in January when the NFL's gone. Because the NFL will keep affecting their ratings through the rest of the year. But I just thought it was really odd that after 12 years they decide now to do this. But you alluded to it, maybe there's a drop in quality too. Now AEW just re-upped, so they're going to be back with TNT and TBS. So at least WWE still has a viable competitor.
There you go.
To keep them honest. We'll talk more about that in a couple minutes.
It's all so ominous.
I love the foreshadowing. I'm sorry. I love being melodramatic. It's cool as hell. Especially with my special
Are you channeling your inner Shatner?
My special super secret movie surprise for you. But now we need to talk about the Penguin.
Yes. Finally, after a friggin' week and a half of waiting for the second episode. Colin Farrell is so damn good in this role. He is brilliant.
Again, something we should be giving out the awards, even though we're not. But how he is totally immersed in this role, and you can't even tell it's him, it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, the persona he's taken on.
Yes.
He does a brilliant job with it.
Yeah, so we're 2 episodes in, like you said. They started, the season premiere was on a Thursday, and then they made us wait until the following Sunday.
Yeah.
For episode 2. So now every episode...
Every Sunday, we'll get a new episode here for a few weeks.
All right, can I be the negative Nancy?
Sure.
Can I be the naysayer? Colin Farrell is tremendous. I am already sick of Sophia Falcone.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is a one-note character that has no depth.
No, it's
here's the psycho bitch who the Penguin's going to have to align himself with, and it's just the same shit from her.
She is
over
just
2
a
hours so
one-trick
far.
pony.
Yes.
And
I am tired of her. There's no depth to the character.
No,
None.
It's that character is poorly written.
Yeah, because we know she was in Arkham, and we know she's traumatized by the death of her brother, but other than that, there's no explanation. There's no depth to it at all.
No, why? Give us a little more on why she was in Arkham.
Yeah, they had one scene, kind
One
of, for
sort
30
of
seconds, a flashback.
That didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, here's the thing. If you're expecting any superhero stuff, forget it.
Yeah, no, this is strictly crime family.
Yeah. This is like a Sopranos Godfather type storyline. So you've got the young protege that the Penguin takes under his wing. Still not sure how I feel about him. He's kind of a one-note character, too.
Yeah, I'm waiting for his development a little bit.
Yeah.
I know Penguin picked him up because of his stutter.
Yeah. Yep.
So having a handicap like he's got, then, all right, here's somebody, let's see if I can turn his life around in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all about Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell is the reason you're going to tune in to watch this.
Yeah.
But I will say that outside of him, if it wasn't for him, this would be a failure right now through 2 episodes.
Yeah, you're waiting for the storyline to really kick into play.
Right.
It's a slow setup.
Yep, it's a mafioso backstabbing, double-crossing, generic plot is what it is.
Yep.
And outside of Oz, you don't care.
Yeah, pretty much.
But again, we're talking about, and this is something we've seen in the past with movies and with TV shows. An actor or an actress takes on a character, and they are so mesmerizing and so good that alone will suck you in. Yeah, and that's the case here with the Penguin.
Yeah. Being the focal point and everything around him, he is worth tuning in to see.
Yes. I'm still working my way through Tracker, getting ready for season 2. So I will be ready. I will be ready for season 2.
We're just about a week away. 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks away. 2 weeks
panicking.
away.
I need 2 weeks.
We're 2 weeks away.
Yeah, 2 weeks I'll be able to catch up. 1 week now. No, not going to happen.
No, we're 2 weeks away.
I think I'm almost through episode 4. So, still liking it, still very good. And then we'll start reviewing season 2 week by week, if that's the plan.
That's fine.
What show we will not be reviewing week by week is Rescue High Surf.
Oh, no.
And thank God.
Oh, no.
Because when we get to movie reviews, and I alluded to this last week, I already feel so bad. And I'm surprised when he showed up tonight for taping, your Uncle Dave did not punch me in the face for such a terrible movie review recommendation. So at least this one I took the bullet for.
I'm glad I did not. I almost started it last night. I was going to read a couple chapters of the new Mitch Rapp story and then try and catch the first episode to get ready, and I wound up falling asleep while reading, and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm too damn tired.
Your body was telling you something.
Stay away.
Go to sleep. Just go to sleep, Dave.
Just walk away.
Rescue High Surf, even though it has so many people from one of the greatest shows of the last 20 years, Animal Kingdom, associated with it, is typical generic network crap. I got halfway through the second episode, and I said, "That's it. I can't deal with this anymore. This is just so bad." Now, I was never a Baywatch guy.
Yeah, I never watched it.
But this strikes me as simply a more serious reincarnation of Baywatch.
So is it kind of a Baywatch meets 911?
See, yes, I'd probably say yes, guessing, but I've never watched 911 because that looks like generic network crap. But I had higher hopes for this because, again, of the people associated with it. Plus, I thought I got tricked with Tracker. The previews for that made it look like generic crap, and it's much better.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe this is the same way. Nope. All it is again a more serious version of Baywatch. Less boobies. Still get some boobies. Still get some halfway decent looking women. But yeah, it's just the same old, generic. Oh, one big rescue an episode, and then there's the complications involved.
And it's
with the
always
side characters
in the surf.
And who likes who, and who broke up with who, and who's attracted to who, and you got class warfare going on between the new lifeguards, and you got the one character is just you hope he goes out and drowns. Now you got the really cool Australian lifeguard who's the one character I liked in the whole thing. Because he's just kind of takes it as it comes, and used to bang the blonde surf lifeguard, but he moved on from her, and now he's engaged. But of course, they're still attracted to each. It's like a fucking soap opera. But yeah, the one punk ass, all he does is try to get laid every minute of every second of every day, and his character has zero depth. There's nothing there. Sean Hatosi, of course, Pope from Animal Kingdom, in the first hour and a half showed up for 3 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah. Showed up for 3 fucking minutes.
Useless.
So no, definitely not something you want to waste your time on.
All right. Yay. One less thing to have to burden myself with.
So I feel like now I maybe kind of sort of
made up for.
No, we're not there yet. Don't go there yet. I got my TV review of the week. That's not my review.
Okay.
That's not my review, David. Because you're sitting there going, okay, so you watched an hour and a half of Rescue High Surf, and last week is when you watched the shitty movie that you're going to review. So what did you watch, Kev? I watched all 6 episodes of Mr. McMahon on Netflix. Yes, I got sucked in.
Is it any good?
I think you would enjoy it immensely.
Okay.
The reason I say you would is because I knew a lot of the stuff going in that I don't think you knew, because I have watched documentaries about this in the past. The good thing about it is it's not centered completely on him. It's more of a comprehensive look at the history of the WWE from the early 80s to the early 2000s.
Okay.
When he was completely in charge.
Yeah, where you didn't really know he was in charge when he was the announcer.
Right. And then they eventually later on talk about his character, Mr. McMahon, and that's why the show is called Mr. McMahon, is trying to reconcile who he says he is in the interviews in real life versus the character he created, and how close they seem to be, or how far apart at times they seem to be. So it's a very, very well done documentary. 6 hours, obviously, hour-long episodes, but a lot of the WWE history, a lot early on with Hulk Hogan and their relationship, and they each take credit McMahon says, I created Hogan. Hogan says, I basically propelled the company on my own to where it is today. Some of the wrestlers don't really get a lot of credit or time.
They should.
Like you don't hear anything from Roman Reigns. You get maybe 2 or 3 minutes of John Cena. So it's again more focused on early 80s to early 2000s.
Okay.
So it's a lot of Hulk Hogan, a decent chunk of Bret Hart, and the death of Owen Hart, his brother. The screw job is a big part of it. The Canadian screw job. And then at the end, they do tackle a little bit the sexual complaints. But I tell you what, there are some interesting things that I completely either forgotten about or never knew about, involving interactions with reporters early on.
Oh wow!
John Stossel.
Really?
Yeah, a wrestler basically smacking him around in the hallway outside the lockers at one of the venues because he was sitting there sticking his microphone. Is this fake? Is this all fake? And the wrestler basically hauled off and decked him and said,
"How fake is that?
Yeah, how fake is that?" And this has ended up being a wrestler who never amounted to anything. But the implications were, did Vince McMahon tell everybody in the locker room, I'd love it if somebody would shut this guy up. So that's just a little taste. So again, if you're not as familiar with the stories as I am, this will be fascinating. For me, it was a solid 3 because a lot of the stuff was repetitive.
Yeah.
But it's still very, very, very entertaining. It goes by, just like that.
All right.
Because it's every episode's an hour done. It's not like they run over. It'll go by in a second. It'll seem like.
Cool.
So I recommend, if you are at all interested in the world of professional wrestling, Mr. McMahon on Netflix.
Yep. Get your wrestling on.
Yep. All right, Dave. I know you feel like I saved you a little bit of time by, telling you to stay away from Rescue High Surf. But have I completely atoned for I saw the TV glow as we move on to movies?
I should have stopped watching it after 15 minutes like my wife did.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And I'm like, all right. I gave her the option. I said, you just want to stop and I'll finish it up, see if it gets any better. She's like, give me 5 more minutes. So we're 15 in and we'd have been 20 in. 30 seconds later, she's like, no, just shut it off. Just shut it off. I should have bailed at the same time. But there was something there underlying that you thought, all right, this has got to pick up. There's got to be a payoff.
There's got to be some kind of a connection, a thread that's going to make this all make sense.
There was the glow. I saw the title has fucking nothing to do with the movie. You think I saw the TV glow. Okay, poltergeistery type thing. No. Story, absolutely god-awful. Incoherent. The thread made like almost zero sense.
Are they crazy? What's reality? What's not reality?
The acting. Oh my god. They were the worst fucking actors ever. There was nothing. The characters, no substance at all. There was nothing good about this. This is a 0 movie, kids. 0.
I think I gave it half a frenzy.
I can't even give it half. It never should have seen the light of day. It should not have been greenlit at all. A24 should be embarrassed.
And that was another reason why I thought A24 has been
They've been fairly good.
reputable, and they've had the Iron Claw we just watched recently.
Yeah, no, this was shit.
Yeah, it was. It was awful and terrible, and I...
Stay away. If I would have gone to the theater to see this, I would have demanded my damn money back.
Oh my God. Oh my God. If I'd actually paid money to see this in the theater, oh my God. It's one thing. You're already paying for the streaming service.
Right.
Yes, I feel like you've cheated me out of an hour and a half of my life.
Yeah. At one point, I fell asleep and missed like 20 minutes. And stupidly,
You rewound it?
I rewound it to see, did I miss something good? Because I thought, oh, well, there's... No. Why? So I just added on to the misery and the agony. I cannot stress enough how horrible this movie is.
And again, I only gave it half a frenzy, so 0 from Dave, half a frenzy from Kev. Stay the fuck away.
And if I ever see the TV glow again, I'm going to shoot myself.
All right, before we get into my bonus review, couple little movie news tidbits. This one's very cool. So because it's so cool, it'll probably never happen. But of course, now we've been talking over the last year or so about DC and how James Gunn has taken over and things are being done differently.
Supposedly.
Well, supposedly in early development at DC Studios, a combo movie, not two separate movies, a combo movie is in the works.
A superhero buddy movie?
Not with these two. This is the opposite. This is the opposite. And that's why this is awesome. You can tell the boys about this if they have not already heard this. Bane and Deathstroke.
Oh, hell no.
In a movie together. Yes. Can you imagine that?
Oh my God.
It's just in early development. So again, we can only hope that that sees the light of day. But would that not be awesome?
Holy crap.
Bane and Deathstroke. Hate to tease you guys with that, but when I saw that...
That would be...
Yeah, my nipples got hard. I'll tell you that.
That would be incredible.
Yep. And now weekly, we kind of do this weekly now. Trailers, new trailers out. Trailer for Ballerina is out.
That looked really damn good.
Yes. Of course, Ballerina from the world of John Wick. A little creepy at the beginning with Winston. I know it's necessary, but it's creepy.
It's
Hey, little girl, do you want me to take you?
It's pedophile creepy, but...
Do you want me to take you to a school where they teach you how to dance? But yeah, when she walks in...
We're not dancing around the fire.
Welcome to the Continental. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yes, we're back. We're back. So Ballerina.
You're the one they call Baba Yaga.
And every time I watch Keanu Reeves play John Wick and he delivers lines, it's like I'm so torn. Part of my head says he's delivering them in the coolest possible way.
And the other part of my thinks it's Johnny fucking Utah.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like half his brain is gone. How do I become like you? It seems like you already are. Yeah.
Well, if you've had as many concussions and near-death experiences as John Wick has had, you would speak that way too.
Oh, come on. Now you're giving him way too much credit. It's method acting, Kev. It's method acting. Also, we've got a new trailer. The second trailer.
Or he's just Ted.
New trailer for Nosferatu, which I'm still intrigued by. If they do it the right way. Because we haven't had a good Dracula movie in a long time. Now, Renfield was good, but that
Renfield
wasn't
was
really a
entertaining.
serious Dracula movie. I'm talking
No,
serious.
Last Voyage was
There you
just
go.
one part of one chapter
Right.
of Dracula, but it was still very well done. But it wasn't a full comprehensive
Right.
tale.
Yep.
So,
Coming to Peacock here soon. Of course, we're in October now, so it's time for horror movies.
oh God.
Hysteria. Coming to Peacock here in a few weeks.
The Def Leppard documentary?
No, but it is about a bunch of kids who take advantage of a satanic murder to form a satanic metal band to take full advantage of the dude. All I have to say are two words: Bruce Campbell.
Oh shit, I'm in.
Bruce Campbell is the sheriff in the town.
All right, I'm in. Hysteria on Peacock.
Couple weeks from now. Yep.
Mwah.
More serious movie, but of course it is directed by our god, Clint Eastwood. Juror number 2 is coming out in a few months for awards season. Stars Nicholas Hoult. Very intriguing trailer. I was wondering where it was going to go, but
There we go. Nicholas Holt's not bad.
yep.
He's a decent actor.
I guess I can't spoil a trailer, can I?
No.
No. So basically what happens is there's a mystery, a question about he has a very odd bad night where he thinks he's killed a deer. Now there is nothing around, no body of any sort around. So he dismisses it, writes it off. A couple months later gets called for jury duty. He gets pulled on the case on a trial of a guy who supposedly killed his girlfriend on the same road, throwing her off the bridge into the water. And he's like, oh my God, did I hit her and kill her with my car? So, kind of interesting.
Interesting.
Kind of interesting. Kind of cool. All right, so my review. And then we'll get to my super special secret recommendation for next week. But my review this week is Killer Heat. Killer Heat is a brand new movie on Amazon Prime. It is like an old school 1970s detective movie. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I love,
Oh, he's good.
along with Shailene Woodley. Redeeming qualities. Briefly, very briefly.
I saw the previews for this and have been intrigued by it.
You know what's going to intrigue you more? It's based on a short story by Joe Nesbo.
Yes, that's what got
Yep.
me, was Nesbo had done the short story for
Yep.
it.
Yep, so this all takes place on the Isle of Crete.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's tremendous. I'm not going to say it's outstanding. It pretty much is a by the book, what you would expect.
Detective movie.
Yep. He, of course, is Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the flawed detective, drinks too much, shady past, but he's good at what he does, ran from a bad life in New York, ends up around Greece, solving cases around Greece, and he gets pulled into a case where a high-profile family member of a very wealthy shipping company falls off a cliff while free solo climbing,
Yeah.
dies.
Did he actually fall, or was it a setup?
Was he murdered? The wife hires him. Is the wife involved? Then you've got the brother, then you've got the mother, then you've got the local fixer. So it's a pretty standard murder mystery. And I wouldn't say there's anything that pushes it beyond that. It's comfort food.
Well, there we go. We like comfort food.
Yeah, it's comfort food. It's an hour and a half.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted. I was like, what can I watch for an hour and a half? And
You know, sometimes we don't want to delve into the 2 hour plus movies, kids.
Right. Yeah, hour and a half. I saw that. I was like, perfect. Let me watch this. And even though again it wasn't phenomenal, it was tolerable. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
Kind of tricky to review though, because again, it doesn't break any new ground. The performances are okay. It again, it's just like eating your favorite Swanson TV dinner.
So it's like a 2.5.
I'm gonna give it
it's recommendable.
I'm gonna give it a strong 2.
Okay.
If you enjoy that kind of genre, like we do, it's worth it more for you to watch it and appreciate the nuances than there are better. Go watch Chinatown. If you've never watched Chinatown, Chinatown's 10 times better. Okay? This is just, again, comfort food.
There you go. See, now I wasn't that big a fan of Chinatown, but...
Really?
It was alright.
Oh, love Chinatown. Love Two Jakes. The sequel was underrated.
Two Jakes was better. I like Two Jakes better than Chinatown.
Why was that so universally reviled?
I have no idea.
Because I love the Two Jakes.
Yeah,
really
I thought it was better than the original. But
yep.
There you go.
So again, that's where Killer Heat falls in. It's kind of like a minor league Chinatown type situation. I want to give it a higher rating, but it's good for what it is, but nothing more.
Yeah.
No, I mean, absolutely nothing more. So that's why I can only give it a strong 2 frenzies.
It's subconscious because Shailene Woodley dated Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's your subconscious.
Yeah, and I was, you know what? Now that you bring that up, I was thinking about that. Because she looks phenomenal in this. Again, briefly you get to see the redeeming qualities. But I'm like, holy shit! Mr. Ayahuasca was banging that? And I'll tell you this, in Killer Heat, she looks better than I've ever seen her in any movie ever.
Really?
I got dragged to go see Divergent?
Oh, God, that piece of crap.
My daughter dragged me to go see that in the theater. She looks phenomenal in this. Huh? Woo. Bikinis. Woo.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
She says...
She has got some milk duds on her, let me tell you. All right, I've kept you in suspense long enough. Now, we talked about what movie we're going to watch next week.
Yes, Salem's Lot.
I have an option.
The new.
I have an option. Yes, we're talking about on Max, which, as you guys are listening to this, has already dropped on Max. The new version of Salem's Lot. But I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to give you a choice. Because as I was trying to go to sleep last night, of course, my go-to, turn on Peacock, catch up on Patrol Live.
Yeah.
So I pop Peacock on and I watch 15, 20 minutes of OPL. And then I kind of go, okay, let me back out of here. And then something catches my eye on Peacock. And I'm like, was that what I thought it was? Was that what I thought it was? So all of a sudden I perk up and yep, that's what I thought it was. Again, it's October. It's October. And it's finally on Peacock. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, I started to watch it last night.
God.
This actually looks like it could be better than the first one. I know, low bar. Low bar.
Very low bar.
But it is now officially out there on Peacock. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
We could have both.
Yeah, I got time. Got time.
We could have both. If I get to it.
You still, at some point, have got to start watching the Terrifier movies.
Yeah, I know.
But, of course, now we move on to our book review that we were supposed to do last week. But, of course, the internet outage fucked us.
They said poo-poo.
So now we are going to move on to our review of the Lee Child short story collection. That would be safe enough. All right, so this is what we used to call literary frenzy back in our cable access days. We used to have a cheap little printed out placard we would put in front of the camera and play Paperback Writer by the Beatles. Because Dave and I love reading books. Now, he reads 472 books a year. I read 10 or 12.
That many?
Shut up, Dave! But we both love reading books, and we get offended, we get pissed off when companies like Amazon and Barnes & Noble only seem to cater. Women are the ones that read. Women are the ones that are literate and sensitive, and men don't read jack crap.
Bullshit.
Yes. You're not talking about us, because we read. And we are very, very well versed in authors and different types of literature.
That we are.
So we like to take that and share it with you every once in a while. Like I said, if Dave could do it, he'd review 3 books a week. But we try to stick with my pace, which is like a book or 2 a month.
We do what we can.
So now we have the short story collection that just came out recently from the great Lee Child, of course. Lee Child used to be the solo author of the Jack Reacher series, now sharing the byline with his brother Andrew Child. Of course, they're all pen names, so.
Yep. So, but Safe Enough and Other Stories.
Yep. So we're not going to go through all 20 stories, but we're going to highlight, I think the overall impression that Dave and I both had. Now, here's the thing. It's like 240 pages.
Yeah.
The entire
These
collection.
Are short stories.
Yeah, they run anywhere from 12 to 15 or 17 pages, so you're not investing a lot of time if a story doesn't strike your fancy. So that's one thing. It blows by really quickly. You just have to be able to shift. Instead of one narrative link, one narrative line, you're going to have to stop and reset every 15 pages.
We're in a new story altogether,
right,
new characters.
So if you can handle that, this is for you. Now, I think Dave and I will agree that a lot of these are a little bit predictable.
A lot of it predictable.
Now, you don't have a lot of time to work with, so it's not shocking to me that a lot of these turn out. You've only got a couple characters, so it's not like it's not like an Agatha Christie locked room mystery,
right?
Where there's 12 people on a boat or 12 people in a museum.
The whole whodunit type,
right?
Yeah. So
the twists that Lee Child puts in a lot of these stories are pretty, again, predictable. You can kind of see them coming a mile away.
Some of them, maybe not so much.
But I still think they're all enjoyable.
They are.
I did not read a single story in this that I didn't find enjoyable.
Something.
Because again, you're not investing that much time.
Right.
It's like eating a piece of chocolate. The taste is gone after 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and hey, that was all right. I like that chocolate. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'll have another one.
Yep.
And it's the exact same taste, exact same texture.
Or fruit striped gum.
Is this going to be your thing now? You're going to work fruit stripe?
Yes, I am.
Conversation.
Any chance? Because of the fleeting goodness.
All right, so we're going to run through. He's got his copy of the book from the library. I've got mine that I bought. So we're going to run through
the ones
our
we
favorites.
enjoyed.
Maybe we'll highlight the ones that were predictable, but still interesting.
Yeah.
I would start off with the title story in terms of it's very appropriate that the title story Safe Enough is what he chose to name the entire book, because it's a very appropriate story to some up what you get for the most part for most of these stories. Again, very well done, very interesting, but it's flawed and kind of predictable.
Yeah. So, there you go. But I will start off. I liked the very first one, The Bodyguard. I enjoyed.
That wasn't bad. I thought the first handful of stories where the flaws were, where things just weren't different, where the narrative wasn't different or it was predictable.
Yeah.
I thought things started to change with right after Safe Enough with Normal in Every Way, where you've got the guy who's ignored working the evidence locker at the police precinct.
Yeah, that was very intriguing.
And then the next one after that, the 50
cal solution. Yeah. I liked that one.
Yep.
That one was really good.
Yeah.
Me and Mr. Rafferty, that was a little predictable. And that was a slow read because of the slow pace of the character waking up and moving.
Yeah, I think that was one of my least favorites because of that. That was another one that was predictable. And I completely agree. He dragged, even though it's a short story, he dragged out the whole, I can barely lift my eyelid, and it took me an hour to raise my arm off the floor, and oh my God,
come on, dude, an hour to open both your eyes.
Yeah.
Seriously, done. No.
I did like. It's hard to read even in a short story format because it's meant to be rambling and it goes on and on and on with no break in terms of paragraphs or anything. But I Heard a Romantic Story, I thought was probably my favorite of the whole collection.
I could see that. I had some issues with it. It was decent.
It's a little predictable, but I think the way he took the character and wrote it with the rambling, the rambling nonstop explanation and exposition.
Yeah, it was a neat way to do it.
Yep.
I think I liked how it was handled more than the story itself.
I can see that. Yep.
So, Addicted to Sweetness, I enjoyed. The guy bound, covered in gasoline.
Yeah, I didn't like the ending though. I thought,
the ending was kind of a cop out.
How stupid are you?
It was a cop out.
Yeah.
But until that point, I was all right. How's this gonna go? What's the final gonna be?
Yeah, I thought the ending was a little bit weird and stupid.
Yeah. But for a drug dealer, they're kind of dumb and stupid.
And then you've got Pierre, Lucien, and me about the art forgery situation. It was there's parts of it I liked.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah,
I did kind of enjoy that one.
Now there's not really. I like the way it ended. I like the resolution to it in a very short span. He covers most of this guy's life.
Yeah. The execution was good.
Yeah.
Shorty in the Briefcase was kind of different. I did enjoy that tale. How they're trying to push a botched mission, and the poor guy trying to push him away as a reminder, but he won't go away.
Now, Dying for a Cigarette, as we get towards the end, even though it's really not a crime story, it's a very interesting story. Now, again, it's predictable to a certain extent, but how everybody's manipulating the main character
he's allowing him
into success beyond his wildest dreams even though he really kind of is pushing against it.
Yeah, that was a very interesting twist at the end, how it all came together.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see part of it as it goes along, but the full reveal was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I did kind of like the last one, Snake
Snake
Eater
Eater.
by the Numbers.
It was okay. It was okay.
So it was a decent finish.
Yep. They're, again, not a bad story. They're all different enough.
Yeah.
They're all written
And
somewhat differently enough to it's almost like I alluded to chocolates earlier. Think of this as a box of chocolates.
you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, they're all good,
But they're fleeting.
yeah, you're gonna get the ones with the Heath filling, or the nougat and the caramel, or you're gonna get the ones with the pineapple in them. You know,
That are just, yeah. No, and even
Or
the
the pink
author,
goo.
yeah, even the author admits he is not a short story writer. He does not do traditional short stories. Some of these are really very basic that needed more fleshing out to be a true.
But the thing is, when you and I initially talked about reviewing this together and reading the book, we mentioned how we were reading James Lee Burke's collection of short stories that came out earlier this year.
Yeah.
And how, even though we both love James Lee Burke as a writer, as an author, his short stories are tough to get through because they're so dense and there's so much in there in 40, 50, 60 pages.
Yeah.
Whereas here, this is like a welcome relief.
It's like 10 to 15 pages. You almost want them to split the difference and hit on that 20 to 25.
Yeah, you want that sweet spot.
The 20 to 25 pages, enough to wrap it up quick, but give more development.
Yes. I think that's very well put, very well said. So I'll give Safe Enough a solid, strong 3 frenzies.
It is. It's right there.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. I would think anybody out there who wants to read something quick, enjoyable, with a lot of different perspectives, all kind of sort of about crime, deceit, double crosses, and twists and turns, this is for you.
Yep, that's got what you want right there.
All right, before we move on to Moments of Silence, I've got another little news tidbit for Dave. Even though he probably knows when it comes to the books more than I do, in terms of what's coming out. He gets all the newsletters, the catalogs. But another example of authors selling out. Harlan Coben is pulling a James Patterson. Harlan Coben is announced in the fall of 2025. He is going to co-author a novel with Reese Witherspoon. I just don't know why, outside of a pure sheer money grab, why these authors do this.
Why do you team up with somebody famous? There's no reason for it. None whatsoever.
Unless you're a whore, which is what James Patterson is, but I thought better of Harlan Coben. I really did. And now he's going to go down that same road, that same path.
Harlan, don't ruin your legacy.
Well, he's well on his way now.
Jumping the proverbial shark.
All right, before we get to Moments of Silence, I did remember one thing I wanted to bring up with you. I've got a little bit of a trivia question. Now, it's a combo. We, of course, do our sports edition every Thursday morning, and then we do, of course, here Pop Culture.
Right.
On the weekend edition. So this is a combo. I'm going to ask you. Now, this goes back to, I wanted to do this last week, so this goes back through week 3 of the NFL season. Okay? Not week 4, week 3. I want you to give me the higher of these two numbers. Okay? Missed tackles in the NFL through week 3 or the number of dildos that were found raiding P. Diddy's house?
What was more?
Yeah, the higher number.
The higher number? I will go with P. Diddy.
Incorrect, but close.
Oh.
Through week 3 in the NFL, there were 899 missed tackles and only 784 dildos found at P. Diddy's house, along with all that baby oil.
And the lube
Yeah.
and the...
Wow. And again, how does he get away with this shit as long as he did? Because he's a celebrity.
Yep.
And you wonder
Payment, intimidation.
why we're so bitter about celebrities. And we'll get to them a little bit more in a minute. But for now, let's pay tribute, because this was a very heavy week for moments of silence in the world of entertainment. We'll start off light here. Well, I'm not saying light, okay, but in terms of people and how they influenced us, let's put it that way.
There you go.
Dave and I have never been big on serious film. I mean, like, you know, the English films. So I can't really talk a lot about the great actress Maggie Smith.
Professor McGonagall from the Harry Potter
I'm not a Harry
films.
Potter person.
She was in Downton Abbey.
Again, that doesn't do anything for me. But I understand. I understand the impact on other people.
I think she was also in Excalibur back in the day.
Oh, I don't remember her in Excalibur. I remember Helen Mirren was in Excalibur.
I thought Maggie Smith was as well.
I'm not saying 100% no. Oh, don't look it up now.
Oh, all right.
Stop it.
We like to be factually correct.
Well, that's why I say I'm not 100% sure either way. Now, this is one, even though you weren't here last week, I missed this one. This carries back a couple weeks. And I don't think we ever brought it up. And I know you read his books. Nelson DeMille passed away.
No, I missed that.
This happened like in September, mid-September. Nelson
How the frick did...
That's what I'm saying. This kind of...
I saw no news on Nelson DeMille's passing at all.
I stumbled upon it a couple days ago.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, when did he die? I got a newsletter from Barnes & Noble. And I was going through it, you know, oh, what do you got on sale? Anything decent?
Yeah.
At the very bottom it said, Remembering Nelson DeMille.
Yeah.
I'm like, when the hell did Nelson DeMille die?
He had one of my favorite characters
John
of
Corey.
all time. Yes, John Corey.
I know. No, he died.
My God.
He died on September the 17th.
Ah. Good grief.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder, Dave's got to know about this,
Oh my
doesn't
God,
he?
no, I had not heard about that.
Yeah.
Ah. Good Lord.
And then, of course,
Helen Mirren was in Clash of the Titans. California Suite, Death on the Nile, Murder by Death.
I'm telling you, she was in Excalibur. I know she was in Excalibur. Helen Mirren was in Excalibur.
Yeah, nope. All right. I thought Maggie Smith was as well as part of that group, but she was not.
All right. I'm gonna have to do some digging.
So,
Of course, then we have, I don't know. This is one of those guys who I think is more legendary in the eyes of Hollywood than he really is to all of us commoners out there. Yeah, he did some cool stuff, but nothing earth-shattering. He did a lot of different things. He did acting, he did music, and that would be, of course, Chris Christopherson.
yep, Convoy. The
Yep.
Star is Born.
But, okay. Sorry, again, like Maggie Smith, didn't impact my life all that much, you know? Sorry.
Come on.
Now, these last two guys...
He was a rubber duck.
These last two guys, even though they're not nearly as well known or revered as Chris Christopherson or Maggie Smith, impacted my life and your life a lot more than those people did.
Yep. John Amos.
Dynamite! he didn't
No.
say that, but that was the show.
Yep, he was the father on Good Times.
You would rather have me say Dynamite than try to sing the theme from Good Times. Trust me. But yeah, of course, the father from Good Times. Now, am I right on this? Since you're disputing me on Helen Mirren,
I did not. I thought both of them were in it.
didn't John Amos's character in Good Times die?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's what I thought.
Yes,
he
he did.
died, and then they had to soldier on without him.
Yes.
Okay. Because I thought it was.
I think there was a contract dispute where he wanted more money, and they said no, and so they wrote him off.
Yeah, it would be the first time, wouldn't be the last.
Right.
But yeah. Because yes, back then, as Dave and I have talked about, kids, we didn't care about this whole racist bullshit. We didn't divide and conquer as the media wants us to do now. We would watch What's Happening. We would watch Different Strokes. We would watch Good Times. We would watch The Jeffersons. Because it was all about us as people.
It was.
It wasn't black and white.
It was a story about people.
And then, of course, we just, earlier this year, just a few months ago, reviewed Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F.
Yep.
And now we have lost.
Taggart.
Taggart is gone.
Yep.
The great John Ashton passed away. And again, I know Maggie Smith has got all these film credentials and Chris Christopherson is beloved, but John Ashton as Taggart.
Come on.
It's one of the most iconic characters when I was growing up. You know? You guys can laugh at it and say, oh, whatever. You know, it was like the other day I was looking at a story online I happened to stumble across about the 20 greatest bullies in film of the 80s. And I was yelling at my computer screen because Bill Paxton from Weird Science was only number 11. I'm like, how was Chet not number 1?
11?
How is Chet not number 1? How would you like a nice greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray? So there you go, kids. There's the moments of silence for this week. Take them for what you will. As I mentioned, John Amos, John Ashton, very important in our formative years as we grew up in the 70s and into the 80s.
Yep.
Although Maggie Smith, Chris Christopherson, extremely important for Hollywood. And then, of course, for Dave, I didn't realize I was going to break the news that Nelson DeMille had passed for him.
Good grief.
So
that sucks.
All right, so let's get over the grief here and let's move on to our 4 nominees for the Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week in the world of pop culture, shall we?
Yes, let us.
Now, I will admit, just like with the sports edition, see, here's the problem. When I pick angry, I usually pick really good.
Not always.
See, so now this week, even though I was angry, I didn't pick angry, so I'm not 100% sure these are the strongest candidates. I'll just say that.
All right.
All right. Unfortunately, the reunion that nobody ever fucking cared about is coming to America. Oasis has announced a handful of dates next summer.
Oh, God.
As they come to North America. But here's my problem.
Everybody's just waiting for the fisticuffs to erupt on stage.
Well, here's the thing. These two are such pretentious asshats, the Gallagher brothers.
Yes.
That even in the press releases, as they announced that they were going to play this handful, there's 2 in New Jersey and 2 up in Canada and 2 in LA and there's 1 in Chicago. But they have to be just monumental Class A jackasses, even in the press releases. So one line in particular I've pulled out that qualifies them as the Red Foreman dumbasses of the week. Can't just say, hey, glad we're coming back to America. Hope to see you there. Tickets go on sale next Friday. No. You think those two idiots would say that?
No. Buy your tickets. Come. Revel. Bask in our glory.
You're close. You're very close.
Oh, God.
The direct quote from the initial press release. Quote, you have one last chance to prove you loved us all along.
Oh. Yeah, no. Hard pass. Oh,
so if those two aren't going to punch each other in the face, I say we should do it for them.
Exactly. Oh, my God.
All right, let's stick with pretentious British musicians, shall we? As we move on to our second dumbass. Now,
that was for 100. This is for 200.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I have a friend from high school who swears by Robbie Williams and thinks this guy is, next to Cheap Trick, the greatest musician of all time. And of course, he was huge overseas. He's had limited success here in America, like Oasis. Oasis had one big album here.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And
What's the
3
Story,
songs?
Morning Glory? Yeah, What's the Story, Morning Glory was the only really huge album.
Yeah.
Wait. Now, I know overseas their sales rivaled the Beatles or whatever.
Whatever.
So the same with this Robbie Williams. So Robbie Williams, they've actually filmed it. It's coming out in the next couple months. A biopic about him and his life.
Okay.
It's called Better Man. Okay? So you sit there and you go, okay, so another pretentious asshole gets a biopic. But here's the thing. And I watched the trailer for this. Now, we talked about Pharrell Williams, remember? A couple months ago.
Yeah.
And how they're making a biopic of him, except they're using Legos.
Yeah.
And I believe that was a nominee a few months back.
Yes, it was.
For the Red Foreman Dumbass of the Week back then. Well, Better Man, Robbie Williams isn't just doing a straight biopic. They didn't just find a young actor to play Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams says, my story is unique.
Really?
So his story will be told. Now it's regular people, regular cast, high production value, but Robbie Williams will be played by a CGI monkey. You have got to watch the trailer to fully understand how insipid and stupid this is. It's like Planet of the Apes. It looks like one of the characters from Planet of the Apes singing concerts, roaming the streets of London or wherever he grew up overseas. Yes, the entire movie, Dave, Robbie Williams is portrayed by a CGI monkey.
Oh, my God.
I am not making this shit up.
Wow. I got nothing.
Okay. Next up.
Can we go and fling poo at the screen?
All right, next up. She was a dumbass. You weren't here last week. I know. But I somehow found a way to put Whoopi Goldberg in.
Oh, I was going to say, is it Whoopi or Joy?
No, last week was Whoopi and this week is Whoopi. I got a back to
you
back.
got a double Whoopi.
Yeah, last week I nominated Whoopi because she was adamant that if an opening ever pops on The View, it should go to Hillary Clinton.
Oh, my God.
So that was last week. This week. Okay.
She's already secured a permanent seat on the plane of doom.
Yes. Okay, now I don't like Zachary Levi as an actor. I don't think he's a good actor.
He
ruined
awful.
Shazam. I didn't care about Chuck one way or the other.
He's not good in anything.
And he was just in the bomb, Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Yeah, he's an awful actor.
So, in a sense, who cares one way or the other about him? But he decided to come out and say, well, I'm giving my endorsement for president to Donald Trump. Fine. Okay?
Whatever.
Yeah, again, you really aren't that great of an actor, so who cares? But it's what he said along with that fired up Whoopi Goldberg. Because Zachary Levi said, this will probably cost me work in Hollywood because Hollywood is very, very liberal. And I kind of agree with him.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
But all the Whoopi Goldberg says he's wrong. On The View, Whoopi Goldberg says she is going to, quote, school Zachary Levi. As she says, Hollywood has always been very right-leaning.
Oh, bullshit. In what universe is she living in?
Dave, she's a fucking liar. She's a fucking liar who
What
will say
multiverse?
Anything to advance an agenda.
Oh my god.
I cannot believe people think she's actually intelligent. Once again, as I say with any celebrity, show me your advanced degree in political science or government studies. Don't show me your honorary degree. Because honorary degrees, I could wipe my ass with them. They mean nothing.
Exactly.
Did you actually go to school?
Did you
for
study
political
this
science,
stuff?
For government? Did you actually get a PhD in this?
No, you didn't. Shut up and entertain me.
So that brings us to our final potential dumbass. Speaking of entertainment and politics, now this is a movie I don't give two. I don't want to go see Reagan.
No.
I don't want to see The Apprentice. So you got this movie coming out called The Apprentice. Of course, it's a hit job on Donald Trump. I guess at one point in the movie they kind of imply that he raped his ex-wife. And I'm like, Jesus God. Okay.
Seriously?
How come we never see this shit with the Clintons is what I want to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, you want to go see the damn movie, go see the damn movie.
You know what you could title the Clintons movie? The Hit List.
I thought you were going to say Blow Up.
No, The Hit List. How many people have they had whacked?
God. And I heard Hillary Clinton the other day say she is the most accused innocent person in history.
Bullshit.
If you people believe that, I got a house to sell you in Indiana for about $300 million. So the company behind The Apprentice, not the TV show, the movie, Briarcliff Entertainment, says it is, quote, timidity and cowardice because ABC and CBS decided that it would not be appropriate to air ads for The Apprentice during debates. They said they'd be more than happy to show them at other times, but ABC and CBS says, why would we show ads for these movies, these types of movies, during political debates when people are trying to form an opinion about the candidates?
Yeah.
Actually, ABC and CBS showing common sense.
For once.
But again, we got a Hollywood studio saying it's timid and it's cowardly.
Yeah, there's
to not show this.
Liberal leaning nut jobs right there.
Yeah. So your 4 candidates in pop culture this week for the Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week: the arrogant Oasis, the Gallagher brothers, Robbie Williams as a CGI monkey, Whoopi Goldberg saying that Hollywood has always been very right-leaning, or Briarcliff Entertainment scolding two of our biggest networks for not airing The Apprentice ads during political debates.
Oh God, I gotta go with the pretentious dumbass Robbie Williams portraying himself as a fucking CGI monkey.
I was hoping you'd go somewhere else because that's where I want to go to.
I mean, come on.
You have literally...
You cannot... No, you cannot give that a pass.
Kids, I am not kidding you. Again, this is a podcast. I know we can't do visuals here for you.
Oh my God.
You have got to get out there and watch the trailer for Better Man and tell me if this doesn't look like the most fucked up piece of garbage Hollywood has ever produced.
Oh my God.
That being said, we've got to say goodnight. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
Say goodnight to the kids not portraying yourself as a CGI monkey, Dave.
Say goodnight to the kids not portraying yourself as a CGI monkey, Dave.
He did it. See you next week, kids.